All right. Here's the deal. I'm gonna send a link to this real quick. I look tired because I am tired. All right. All right. Testing 1 and 2. All right. Toxicity. Can you still hear me in Spaces?
I press
All right. Just checking to see if you can hear me in Spaces.
yeah.
All right. Is my space still running? Oh no. Yeah. All right. There we go. Woo! Fixed it. Next time I'm gonna have to test out my stuff to make sure it's working. All right. Damn. Okay, so I'm gonna start over, but I'm gonna be a little more quick about it because I want this on video. In spite of looking like I've had a rough life. All right. So, anyways, hey, what's up, everybody? It is, in fact, your friendly neighborhood ghost Exodus coming to you live from wherever I am. Here's what I wanted to talk about because those who know me, I can kind of be of an asshole, and I don't mean to be, but I want to really dive deep on op child safety. This is something that's very important to me, as I know it is important to you. We're all engaged in this together, in passion to try to make the internet safe for kids. Pulling up the weeds, the bad weeds, and throwing them in the fire. The bad weeds being, pedophiles, and getting them exposed, and more importantly, locked up. Exposing them is not enough. Getting them locked up is the solution. So, anyways, getting them off the streets. So, what I wanted to explain is, Fenrir's Helm is, that's my group, and we do OSINTing, threat intelligence, and for the, hunting pedophiles. So, we have a lot of rules, and I know a lot of people have felt really strangulated by it, but I wanted to explain, the purpose and scope of the rules because, what we do as hunters crosses over into like legal boundaries. And a lot of people don't know it. There was a time when I didn't know it. That half the stuff that we do as hunters is in fact against the law in the United States, in the United Kingdom, in countries, a part of the European Union. They almost unanimously have the same laws, just different penalties. So, for example, one of the reasons why I had to leave Anonymous is because my anonymous identity is op child safety, and these other groups and individuals we've found are openly distributing links of, linking to child pornography. Now, I'm going to give you two scenarios. You've got this degenerate on the internet who, needs to get locked up, sharing links on Facebook, Twitter, Telegram, you name it, of, CPs, child pornography websites. And then on the other hand, you have a pedo hunter, sharing links amongst his hunters, friends, and across social media for public viewing, of CSAM websites. They're both the same exact activities, with the only difference that the intent is different. So, but here's the thing though, our good intentions does not surpass or circumvent the letter of the law. And a lot of us don't know this. We don't know what the law says about what we're doing. And so I want to introduce some of the concepts of our rule set, because we want people to protect the evidence, not taint the evidence or get themselves locked up and then have criminal cases thrown out that could have been a freaking slam dunk, throwing that pedophile straight, to the courts, to the gavel, to jail, etc. So I'm going to start with rule number 1. And like I said, our rules are largely shaped around the law, so that way we kind of get a feel for what we can do and what we can't do. All right. That's, hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so rule number one, and you can find this if you go to my website, ghostexodus.org, right? Let's go there. We're going to both go there together. And then you see op child safety, right? So, I mean, you can click it, but if you, scroll your mouse over it, there's a drop down or like, a little pop up. Go to ethos and guidance, excuse me. So, what we have here is the charter. Rule number one, we do not share links of any type of media containing child sexual abuse material, also called CSAM, in group chats or DMs for any reason. Those who do this will be canceled. This is a federal crime under 18 U.S.C. 2252, which constitutes distribution and carries a statutory minimum of 15 to 30 years in prison plus fines. So yeah, the next time you see like an anonymous sister or an anonymous brother or a fellow hacktivist who is sharing links, of child pornography, and we understand that they do this with the intent just to expose it. I mean, I get it, but you got to think with your head, not with your heart. The mere act of doing that will get you locked up and put in the same category as a pedophile. Not only in the United States, but, in the European Union, all of that. It's a fucking crime. Don't do it. And the reason why I don't allow this in my group, and we had a recent incident, and I didn't realize it was happening, but I had to act on it today. And, I love people's passion, and I have utmost respect for passion, but the days of passion is over. And the days when we have to start using our brains and actually thinking out and weighing out the consequences, that is now. That is now. Here's what happens when you expose, CSAM links on Twitter and Facebook and across social media and in chat rooms, right? People think that pedophiles are dumb, and they're just like they could oftentimes be like anyone else. But the thing is that a lot of them have better OPSEC than we do, have higher skill sets than we do. And what they do is they do kind of like counterintelligence. They will not only pose as pedo hunters, but they may lurk in groups filled with pedo hunters because they're scooping up media, they're scooping up data, and they're also informing, the admins who run those CSAM marketplaces that they're under investigation or that they're being reported. So they're there for intelligence purposes, and to not keep that shit under lock and key basically nullifies any good intentions that you may have. You can go to almost any Anon group chat, and you're gonna find all of this illegal shit. And the thing is that you don't want to be associated with it because you can be guilty of association and under receipt and delivery. So also under 18 USC 2252, if you receive a link containing child pornography, or like screenshots or media like that, you're guilty. You're guilty for receiving it. And that person is guilty for distributing it. So if you were to send an email to the FBI, like, hey, I'm a pedo hunter and I'm a part of blah 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 sec, and we found all this evidence, and you're like, yeah, well, the FBI are gonna be like, yo, why you collecting child pornography links? Like, don't you know, like, that's a fucking crime, and I should just go ahead and arrest you. It has happened. Excuse me, it has happened. So it's kind of crazy. So the next thing is like Yeah, so understand that just because you think you're really smart doesn't mean they're not smart. We've come across some extremely intelligent pedophiles running very sophisticated setups with bridges from like the ClearNet to the dark web and vice versa. Uh, but don't distribute it. Stop. Those days are over. The days of ignorance, it has passed, and we've all, including myself, have not known these things because I was ignorant. I had no idea. I just wanted to catch them. Yes, my girlfriend's always right.
I've
Cheeky
been banging
prick.
on about it forever. But yeah, I won't say it.
I have in my mind, I have like I'm always right thing going on too.
No, you have I'm a man and you don't know what you're talking about thing going on.
She's really not wrong at all. She's not wrong. I'm like, don't you know who I am? Don't you know? I'm Ghost Exodus. That doesn't work here.
And you're like, how?
Yeah. All right. Next thing, right? I know. She's always right.
Not always.
Yeah, you technically are pretty much for the most part. 9 times out of 10. So by default, you're always right. So if you're a pedo hunter, tell everyone. Stop sharing this shit. 2, I want to talk about evidence collecting, right? So how do you collect evidence? Now, one of the human issues that we have as humans is that if we see something so shocking, we're going to want to naturally show someone else like, hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing? And so someone might send a link or a screenshot just to confirm if what they saw was real. This is a natural human response to shocking things that we see.
Like the one member who sent me a beheading video for confirmation if it was real or fake.
Oh shoot! I just realized that my thing was blasting this whole time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that beheading. Someone sent you a beheaded video and just wanted to ask you if it was real or fake. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the thing is that you can't share pictures or media. That's this. Like if you think about it, if you can't visit the websites, then it should show, to reason that you can't view the images or the videos. It should also stand to reason that if you can't visit the website and you can't see the material, then you can't take screenshots of it to preserve it in some form, to store it or cache it or archive it. So
Screenshots don't work anyways, they don't consider them.
screenshots are not admissible as evidence, and this is something that we had a professional come and like mince it all the way down to the molecular level.
But you
It
can
can-
thank all the idiots who edit it for malicious intent.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a picture. It can be edited any day of the week. So it contains no metadata, right? It's just a screenshot of something else, of, a screenshot of the original content. And the original content is what the FBI are most interested in. It's got whatever, EXIF data, it's got metadata, it's got, timestamps. It's preserved on the website or in the chat room of the pedophiles in its original form. That is evidence. So how can you, having knowledge of this evidence, bring it to someone's attention if even visiting it is a crime? So these are the questions. This is why groups need to be think tanking and brainstorming to find creative solutions. Use your hacker brain to find solutions. So for example, I never have to see videos. I've never had to. I've always worked, as I say, the data side of things. I've used Burp Suite. That's how we got really fucking lucky when we were hunting Hydra last year. And you were using your tools, I was using my tools, and we extracted the get log that was leaking publicly, showing every get request by one of their authorized users of this massive global scale CSAM thing like that. We did that. We didn't visit anything. We're just looking at data. But the law always has a gray area, but we truly don't know what that is. But the letter of the law is black and white. And so it's like, if you can't take screenshots, you definitely can't download it, because that's like that's like legal suicide. So what do? So you have to come up with a better story than I'm a cyber vigilante when you make your reports or whatever, or a better story than I'm an independent researcher. It doesn't work that way. So if you've come across like 50 different links, you're going to have to find a way to spread it out in your reports. And you have to come up with a plausible story of how you came across it. Now, for OSINTers, our inclination is like, man, I'm going to get all the evidence and I'm going to give it to the FBI so I can do their job for them and we can just get it done faster. I mean, that works, except when it comes to this. Because your evidence collecting, they're not going to just take your evidence and here's all the evidence that you've compiled for the FBI, and they're just going to give it to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor's like, oh wow, here's all the evidence, and give it to to the judge, and then that's it, you're going to jail. It doesn't work like that. See, the FBI, they may take what you've given them, but they have to reproduce. They can't even just reproduce, because there may be false flags. There might even be a bias. They will have to take something that you've given them and go from there. For example, we were working this recent case, right? Where this guy had the shittiest OPSEC I've ever seen, and yet he had one of the worst CSAM marketplaces our hunters have ever reported. There was really nothing we really had to do. You see? So his phone number was attached to his name, which was attached to his Facebook account, which was attached to his WhatsApp group, his CSAM WhatsApp, to his Telegram group, to his Teleguard group, and so on and so forth. Like, just his fucking phone number, right? So all an FBI agent would have to do is plug that phone number in and see he's got Telegram, he's got this, he's got that, and he's advertising on all these platforms. That's literally it. You can even hint. You'd be like, hey, I was on Facebook the other day, and I was looking around looking for something, and this thing popped up, this group, and I automatically realized it wasn't the group I wanted to be in, but I feel like I have to say something, because I have kids, and I seen this guy advertising what looks like child pornography, and here's the thing. I was just curious, though, and I looked up, I don't know. Here's the thing. The FBI don't use Intellius, okay? They don't deal with all that bullshit that we do on the public side of things. They have private tools, private databases that only they can access. It's not, they do contain false positives, but they're more reliable than the shit that we use. But you can do your part to a degree or whatever, and just play the role of a concerned citizen, but don't give them like, I followed the link to the CP site, which had a link to Telegram, and I hopped over there, and this and this and that. Because now you're showing that you're actually visiting all these sites and all these platforms. You just have to find a creative way to solve the solution of the legal red tape. So one of the things that we're doing is some of us are going to school to become private investigators. I'm one of them. I've already started my courses. This won't give us powers to circumvent the letter of the law. However, it will give us credibility because licensed or certified like private investigators have been trained in evidence handling. So this will mean that they will have moral high ground and credibility when, issuing reports. And also, you could say something like, I have a client who hired me to investigate this man. And so, under confidentiality, I can't reveal my client, but I was looking into John Doe and I came across a Telegram group where he is selling CSAM. And I stopped right there because I knew that I needed to report it immediately. And I'd stop it right there. Another thing that you could do, but I don't know how much play you would have, is like, I'm an investigative journalist and I was investigating this person. And, I came across this link and now I know that this is a violation of 18 USC 2252. I'm going to report this to you now. You have to find a new narrative. Also, if you want to do the hunting thing, right? Doing grassroots hunting is not where it ends. That may have where it started. But dude, do you realize that you could be working as a volunteer for the for the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children? You don't have to do all this. You could literally be working for an organization right now. Excuse me. And let me tell you one. This is badass. This was told to me today by one of my members, and I was looking into it, and it is 1,000% legit. So I want to tell you what this site is real quick. Give me a second. I think it's a nonprofit organization. Shit. My mind is moving so fast, but I'm not actually seeing where let me check my DMs. You have to know that. So there's this nonprofit organization that that is looking for OSINTers. A minimum age of 21 or older who, would be good candidates for de-anonymizing predators. That's what they do. They de-anonymize predators, which also means that they work with law enforcement. Now, that's your golden ticket. If I remember correctly, and I'll explain why, it's the Innocent Lives Foundation, I believe that is. Yeah, it is. It's the innocentlivesfoundation.org. So this organization does basically what we do, except that they have the recognition and the authorization to de-anonymize predators, to help bring them to justice. That's what we want to do. But the thing is that the grassroots movements don't work the way we think or the way we hope. But if you want to do the same damn things you're already doing, but get positive results, you want to work for an organization like the innocentlivesfoundation.org. So, they work on the ClearNet to the dark web, de-anonymizing these degenerates. And like I said, the reason why it's a golden ticket is because you can't do what we do without legal oversight. You can, and you just have to be as creative as you fucking possibly can be. So if you can come up with solutions while still engaging in grassroots cybervigilantism, vigilantism. Is that a fucking word? I don't even want to look it up because I'll start ADDing out. You're gonna have to think creatively. So this is something that I would suggest you look into. If you want to make a difference in saving a child's life, this is what you do. Now you wouldn't have to I don't know how this was. I don't know how they work with law enforcement, but like even the NCMEC, which is always looking for volunteers, they work with law enforcement too. That way, you know, you have like authorized actions would grant you immunity while being observed and guided. You know, none of us want to end up in prison as a fucking chomo. No one's ever going to believe you that you're innocent or that you're not, you know. That will be the end of dating, of finding a job, getting a house, a car, a mortgage. I don't know. It'll just fuck your whole life up. So I want you to think outside the box. Next thing, get certified in digital forensics. A lot of us already have those skills. I have those skills. She has those skills. I'm sure many of you have those skills. Yeah, you got those skills. But here's the thing. Those skills will get you in the door as a contractor working for these companies and for law enforcement. Man, I hate saying that too. Because like I was saying earlier, like I am a recovering black hat. I am a black hat trying to stay in recovery. I don't like the law. I was a two-time fugitive. That's how much I fucking hate the law. But at the same time, you know, if you want to help children, you have to fucking abide by the rules. You can't do it your own way. You know, there was an interview I did with this gentleman on Cyber News. He's called the Protocol Police. The guy is a freaking genius. Give me a second here. So the Protocol Police, he's a black hat hacktivist. He was on Shodan, right? And he was looking for unprotected, webcams. He was just curious. And then one day he found this webcam was like pointing at a kid. And there was like no way he could report it. He tried reporting it, and it's like he was only getting himself in trouble. And they were just the law enforcement in his country had no play. They couldn't do anything about it. So what he had to do is he worked out a deal with these police guys, right, in his area, where he played the role of the attacker or the the bad guy in the scenario. That was I can't even remember the exact context of it, but yeah, he played the role of the cyber criminal, and so that gave them the probable cause to open up an investigation. That's the one thing you need, is just probable cause. And so from there, he was able to get scores of these webcams that were pointing at kids shut down. And not only that, but the police would go to the homes of these where these webcam streams were coming from, and talk to the parents. So it didn't just end abruptly. There was a whole like knock and talk that ensued because of it. It was fucking amazing. So not only did a lot of parents like learn about these webcams, but more about like how to protect their kids. I mean, it was brilliant. And as a hacker, he found a loophole and it worked. And I want to touch real quick on probable cause. So, like, when we see someone that we're hunting, you don't have to freaking find out their entire life story, put a rubber stamp on it, and put a little pink bow on it, and call it a day. Like, all you need is probable cause. That one thing alone, one thing will merit an investigation. For example, there was this one target that we were hunting, and I'm still looking for this article, by the way. It was weird. It's like we were trying to get this evidence on him so that we could, pull on that thread and get this thing closed as fast as possible. But we couldn't find it. And then someone reminded me, it was like, yo, Ghost, all you need is probable cause, a statement. Did he say that he intended to, access CSAM? Did he say that he wanted content? Did he say anything that could incriminate himself without crossing any legal boundaries? And I was like, well, I went through the chats, and lo and behold, someone had sent me a chat from this douchebag, and it was this one statement. He said he had intended to get access to a certain kind of CSAM. That statement was it. We didn't have to dig any further. That one thing was all it took. So, probable cause, let me explain it real quick if I can. So, check this out. Probable cause is a legal standard used in law enforcement and the judicial system, and it refers to the requirement that there must be a reasonable basis or sufficient evidence to believe that a crime has been committed, or the person or place to be searched or seized is connected to that crime. So, like, someone saying, someone admitting that they have CSAM, you don't need to, find out what kind or even where they live. Like, law enforcement has better fucking tools than we do. That statement, boom, motherfucker, you're done. Like, that shows the intent, that he intended to commit this crime. That warrants probable cause. There's something else I wanted to share real quick. And this is like a big fucking deal. Big deal. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, man, I got some scrolling up to do. All right. Okay, here's another one. This one's going to blow your mind. It's going to piss you off. All right, so, for example, under 18 U.S.C. 1030, which is the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, where federal law criminalizes unauthorized access to computers, that's like every hacker who gets arrested under 18 U.S.C. 1030, right? But it also includes using fake online profiles to trick someone into engaging in illegal activity. So, damn it. So you're like, what the fuck? What do I do? I'm so glad you asked. Because this could be like, see, if you use a fake online profile to try to induce someone to commit a crime, you've just broken the law. And this could actually be a case, against pedo hunters for entrapment or facilitating a crime. Man, that sucks, doesn't it? It does. Because it feels like this. It feels like my hands are tied. I'm going to just eat my pudding. So, check this out. So if you can't do that, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. So one of the things that I had done is I used to do online sting operations on a certain chat website. And all I would... Here's another thing, too. Is like making someone believe that you're underage also kind of falls under that. It's a bit of a gray area. But one of the things I used to do when I don't do it anymore because I'm kind of done with failed results. But I used to sit in this chat room with a suggestive name, and age, like I don't know, like Misty 14 or Strawberry 14. I don't know, just something like that, right? And I would just sit there, and all these people would start DMing me, and every single last one of them were pedophiles. All of them. Every fucking last one of them. We never actually engaged them. They engaged us. So even though we had them, we were also in a position that could be construed as entrapment. Unless you're working with like law enforcement oversight, this 9 times out of 10 is going to work. Because when it comes out in court with the defense, which would be the pedophile's attorney, saying, well, how is this evidence obtained? Where did this come from? Oh, it was a citizen who was posing as a 14-year-old girl. Yeah, you just fucked up that case. That case is over. In fact, law enforcement will never even get to that point because they're not in the position of just taking cases that are going to be arguably thrown out. That's gonna look bad on the department. And just FYI, you can't use pictures of kids. That'd be insane. And creating AI child pornography is also a crime. Don't do it. It's a big fucking crime pretty much everywhere now, which is good. I'm glad that it's against the law because that's one of the things that pedophiles are now doing is just creating reams and reams and reams of AI generated child pornography. And yeah, you don't want to do that. So this is the reason why I say get certified in digital forensics. Transition from grassroots to professional. I'm going to open up a PI firm. I'm going to open up a business. I'm already opening up a business doing OSINTing because that's all we do. Man, we've de-anonymized so many fucking people. It's ridiculous. We don't even talk about it. But we've got some of the best OSINTers that I've ever seen in my life in our group. And so, we have a business. And, to legitimize this business, we want to, become private investigators. And then maybe start a 501c3 charity organization. Start our own thing, you know what I mean? And that will also allow us to be able to make these maneuvers. If you have something like important to say, like go submit a call for paper at these hacker conferences too. That's something that I've been doing since I've been out of prison. And let me tell you, the ability to network with people has never been so perfect than going to hacker conferences. And even if you don't go there with the intent to give a speech, networking with people is a game changer. I've met professional hunters that have worked with private organizations and nonprofits and law enforcement and pretty much every alphabet soup that on the planet. I made a friend at these hacker conferences who's a lawyer, and I love to pick his brain about the law. He's been instrumental in helping us shape our ideology and our rule sets. So that way, we just don't fuck around and find out with the law and then realize that we've made an irreversible mistake. Excuse me. So yeah, rule number 2 is we don't make use of photos of other people, especially underage persons, or use images of victims for any reason. Number 3 is we don't publicly disclose links to our hunting grounds or publish our methods, except internally amongst our hunters. I also want to talk about mass reporting. Check this out. Mass reporting accounts just to I don't know why people do it. I mean, I guess it does feel like you're being proactive. I get it. I feel like every time I report something, I've done my duty. And it's true. If you see something, say something, report it. That is what the platform is there for. What they do with it is a different story. Do they look at the reports? Yes, they do. They fucking do. They look at every one of them. Did you know that? Yeah, they do. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, buddy. Yeah, they look at the reports. And then those reports have to pass through so many hands. There's so many cogs in the wheel of, triaging these reports. So yeah, it goes through a triage system. So obviously, a person who is reporting their own abuse or victimization is going to receive priority over some pedo hunter who found a website and it's got CSAM on it. Obviously, the priority is going to go to the immediate victim. Does that mean that they disregard the links and the other things? No, they don't disregard them. They don't disregard them because, they're there to triage and analyze all of them. So a lot of the time, they get a lot of false positives, right? So someone's like, and people have sent, have said, hey, Ghost, like, there's someone on Twitter, I think they're posting CSAM, and these people are adults. Like, this isn't CSAM. Like, the difference between a child and an adult, like, this is not the same thing. So they have medical professionals on site who can, forensically decide, if it falls under the category of CSAM or if it's a false positive. But even false positive, like, all of this takes time. People, there's constantly changing hands and reports going to this person. So this person has to send it to a medical examiner to determine if, like, this picture is actually CSAM or not. And then, you have so many different things happening all at once. And then we get, we get angry and anxious and exasperated. It's like, they're not listening. They are listening. It's just that they are required by law to not say anything to you unless you are an immediate victim. It's different when you're a victim. And the reason why they don't talk to you if you're not a victim is because it could jeopardize the integrity of the investigation. Plus, who the fuck are you? You could be, you could be a disgruntled CSAM marketplace user. You know what I mean? They don't know. They don't know who the fuck you are. So the point is, trust the process. Because that's all you're going to do unless you are the one in the process, working with them. So the process, you have to trust it. And you're going to have to disengage, right? They'd be like, hey, they're not listening to us. Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I know we've all felt that way, especially me. Pretty much everyone in my group has. But fuck off. Sorry. I know it was a little rough. But yeah, you have done your part. And for that, I salute you. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic. You've done your part. There's nothing more you can do. They're not going to tell you, yeah, we looked into him and we've escalated it to law enforcement. Thank you for your report. That's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. You will have your next birthday and die years later. I know that didn't make sense. Before they ever tell you shit about what they're doing about your report. I want to hop in the chats here because I can't fucking see it. Oh, man. Here we go. All right. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to hop in these YouTube chats real quick. Where did I put it again? Ah, yeah, right here. that it? Yeah, it is. What else? I just want to hop in these chats, but my ADD is on fire. So yeah, join the Innocent Lives Foundation. It's really easy. Let me tell you something. If you want to get involved, go to their Get Involved section. Go to Join Us, and you'll see a form. It just says, how would you like to join us? Put in your name, explain what you want to do, your email, and they'll be in touch. They're also probably looking for blog writers, social media content creators, social media management, grant writing, yada yada, this and that. You have to understand, you know, pedo hunting is not the only way to help. Like there's so many other things you could do. I tweeted about it like a couple months ago. There's so many different things, like victim, like counseling. You know, victims don't really have a place. They don't have a support group. Yeah, we have fucking huge support group. Hunters who are ready to freaking kill, you know, seek and destroy. Let me see here. So, I mean, that's fine, but think about the victims, right? Find a way to legitimize your hunt so that every fucking report that you do gets closed, like processed and closed. That's the only thing that matters, man. Is not renown, fame, infamy, or how many Telegram accounts you've reported with your bot. Like, fuck off with your dumb bot. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's dumb. You know why it's dumb? Because all they're going to do is Telegram will delete it. It's gone. And then they make a new one. And now you don't know where the new one went. You have no idea where it is until someone else finds it, yeah? If they find it. So the same thing goes with like websites, right? You DDoS a pedo website. Let's say you just DDoSed a pedo website. This happened to us when we were getting data from a website. All that evidence gone. If there was any law enforcement involved trying to, you know, collect data with the intent to arrest these reprobates, you fucked it all off. All of it. It's all gone. Also, another thing that we have seen is that there will be hunters who are hunting in the same areas or locations that you're doing it in. Lo and behold, they just can't contain themselves anymore. They can't. They're just too fucking excited to say, John Doe, I have your docs. You fucking pedophile. I just reported you to the FBI. And then they close down, you know, John Doe closes down his group, right? Because he freaked him out. Now, all that evidence that was in that group, all that metadata that could have been collected, gone. You know, it's funny seeing people who, like, go shoulder to shoulder with hackers, right? Yet they don't seem to have a brain. I've been on the scene since 98. I mean, I've had to learn a lot, don't get me wrong. But, like, the cult mentality, the mob mentality of Anonymous, it has a way of radicalizing the brain to where you don't really think about, you know, weighing out options or, you know, the pros and the cons and should I do this? What are the consequences if I do? Like, maybe you should play chess. At least maybe try to learn how to play at least 2 or 3 steps ahead of your opponent. And then you kind of get a picture of what it's going to be like when you're pedo hunting and you're trying to, you know, see the end result from the beginning. And every step that you take is meticulously calculated so that if there's any victims, you'll have done them justice. Oh man, I tell you what, I can't believe it. Some of the shit we've seen. Just today, just blew my mind. We had an incident today. And I flew off the handle. I mean, I love the guy, don't get me wrong. But if someone's in my group as long as he has been and does what he did, I mean, it doesn't change the fact that, I respect his passion, but his work needs to rethink his work. And what we had seen is someone had been spreading CSAM links all over social media, like trying to bring attention to it. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure he's very popular amongst a different crowd because of it. But anyways, you don't want to do that. It's illegal anyways. Oh man. So yeah, look up your laws in your state or country about becoming a PI. Do it. Fucking do it. Get certified in digital forensics. Like, we don't have to stay here at this level. And not only that, like, if you're running your own firm or maybe even working with another, with a nonprofit, that doesn't mean that you can't, we can't have, Tariq over here on speed dial or Dexter over here on speed dial. I'd be like, yo, Dex, I need some help with this OSINT, and, I need you to de-anonymize this ass hat for me. Like, I'm struggling here, and, it doesn't mean that you can't associate or work with your Anon friends or your hacktivist homies. So, it doesn't mean that you have to disassociate unless you have to disassociate. I mean, you'd have to disassociate if you're like working for the, if you're like working with the FBI, which I do not trust them at all. And those that have always told that they are assholes. That I believe. That doesn't mean that they're all assholes. I'm sure there's an FBI person out there right now or later down the road listening to this. But the grassroots thing is it does put us in a predicament to not trust law enforcement for good reasons. But anyways, yeah, mass reporting doesn't really help. This is why I also don't report things to the IWF. Unless it's like an extreme circumstance. Like, they're just going to remove the domain. And all that evidence, it's like, what's the point? Yeah, we don't want to see this. Well, I mean, as long as you're not visiting the site, then you don't have to see it. You know what I mean? Like, if it's not in your face, then, don't worry about it. Just report it so that an investigation can happen. Anyways, aside from the rules, just going to ghostsexist.org/child safety, this is like a breakdown, right? Of everything I think you should know about reports and what not to do. I know by the time you're reading it, you'll be like, well, fuck this. What am I doing this for? Like, if you feel that way, I'm sorry, but good. Because the point is, I want you to elevate from the grassroots operations into a network of resources that actually can get these people arrested. But if it takes you 5 years to do it, but until then you're going to do pedo hunting, great. Just don't break the law. And then, become, a pedo by default by letter of the law. So anyways, one of the problems with a lot of reports is inaccurate analysis. So hunters may misinterpret or mislabel benign content as CSAM, which we discussed earlier, leading to false accusations or wasting investigative resources. Remember, there's many different cogs in the wheel. A lot of people in these organizations that all have roles, and you tie up their hands and they're chasing after frivolous leads that could have been spent taking down this website and arresting these asshats. So you're going to have to ensure certainty that what you are reporting is true and accurate. Like, come on, man. Let's do that. Let's make sure it's true and accurate. Yeah, so I still have this, by the way. And this one. Anyways, I just don't usually wear it. So anyways, over-reporting. Remember that day when we were all on X or Twitter and Damien was like, hey, we're going to like mass flood the NCMEC with all these fucking reports. It was like, and we sat his ass down. We sat him down in the way that we can and do, and was like, yo, we're not doing that. And when we explained it, it just kind of like went in one ear and out the other. But, so anyway, over-reporting, such as, sending large volumes of poorly documented or irrelevant information can overwhelm authorities and make it harder for investigators to prioritize real threats. Yeah, so let's never do that. All right? Seriously, don't. Just don't. Respect the process. Don't be a dick. And to sum up some other stuff that we'd already talked about, dang it, violating legal protocols. This is the big thing. This is why I don't just let anyone in Fenrir's helm. I'll let just about anyone in ETA, but Fenrir's helm is different. We don't have anything that we discussed, today happening in our group at all. Anyways, possession of illegal content, downloading, storing, or redistributing CSAM, even with the intent to report it, is itself a federal crime. This jeopardizes the hunter and the investigation, as authorities must now address the hunter's criminal act. Don't do it then. Just don't. It seems like a really bad idea. DDoS attacks or platform interference. Interfering or, shutting down sites can destroy or obscure potential evidence, making it harder for law enforcement to track offenders and their networks. Just leave them the way you found it, and don't raise, attention. Just don't. Public disclosure. This one, if you've noticed, we don't expose people. And I want you guys to really get down on this, right? Public disclosure, such as sharing details of investigations, like what you've done. Like, we've just de-anonymized Joe Schmo from Oceanside, California. He goes to this school or college, and he teaches philosophy at the blah, blah, blah. And here's his address and phone number. We've got you. Well, let me tell you something. Any pedophile who sees that is going to be like, I'm going to contact Joe Schmo and let him know immediately that he might get himself arrested. He needs to throw away his phone and get a new one. Anyways, sharing details of investigations, including offender names or suspects, or people suspected of crimes on social media or public platforms, can alert offenders, prompting them to delete evidence, relocate, or change their methods. What? I thought we all did that. No, not all of us. Not all of us do that. There's a reason why I quit Anonymous. There's a fucking reason. Let me tell you something. I still love my my Anon brothers and sisters, obviously. But it's like, whenever I see it, I'm just... if someone I think two times someone tried to dox me in the last year or two. And someone's like, hey, Ghost, someone is trying to dox you. Well, I mean, I laughed. I mean, I really don't give two shits. And I've moved all over the United States and in different countries. So it's like, if they can figure it out, then they can figure it out. As long as they're not coming with a gun to shoot me in the head, I could care less. But see, following that same train of thought, if one of my friends or someone who respects me alerts me to the fact that I've been doxxed, don't you think that that's going to happen with them as well? especially knowing what they could face, like the hangman's noose in the court of law. Of course, they're going to start committing obstruction of justice and erasing evidence and changing their methods. So yeah, all this really helps the enemy, if you think about it. Which is why when you go back to our rule set, you know, like doing this helps the enemy, is aiding the enemy. Just don't do it. Like whenever the FBI are investigating cases, right? They don't go on the news until they've already had the asshole apprehended, right? They don't be like, we've caught Jesse McGraw hacking into blah blah blah, and here's his phone number and his IP address. They don't. Like, use some common sense. Like, if they did, man, I would fucking throw my laptop out and got a new phone and everything. I would have moved apartments and just, I don't know, I would have done anything. You know, it took here's something I definitely want to say. It took the FBI 72 hours, give or take, to have me de-anonymized, right? About, what is that, like 3 days. Mind you, I had a really good OCenter on my ass. However, he never got my name because I had never used my name on the internet since the moment I used the internet. Like when I was like 14 years old, I never had used my name throughout my entire life into my 20s. Never used my name before. So this OCenter collected all this data on me that he found publicly available, like how we do when we're hunting these guys. And he knew I was a security guard, likely at the Corel Clinic in Dallas, yeah? That was a key indication, but he still didn't have my name. So the FBI, they were the ones to de-anonymize me. No one else. What they did was very tricky, but they had found a Craigslist post of mine. I had posted a resume on Craigslist of naming all the security companies I'd worked for and the dates. Mind you, my name was not on the resume, and the phone number was a burner phone number, registered to a fake name. So, with that in mind, they called all three security companies, and after furnishing the dates of my employment and when I left, they were able to enumerate my name. Jesse McGraw is, in fact, Ghost Exodus. And so the rest is history. But see, while this gentleman could, this network security researcher was able to get all this information and it not be a problem, the difference is he never broke the law doing it. There's a lot of red tape involved over here with pedo hunting, unlike what he did, because it involves access to prohibited websites, material, the intent to look, the intent to distribute, to receive, all these factors coming into play. And so, of course, there's red tape involved. Of course, they don't want to work with us because while we want them to do their jobs, we think we're above the law. And so it really kind of goes to show, that we can't really be trusted to abide by the rules. This one's great. You're going to love this shit. Mishandling evidence. Oof. So, I did it. Did this drool? Probably did.
Make sure you check your comments.
Okay, I will.
People chatting away.
Yeah. Self-gratification and pride, yeah. Nowadays, people who think that they are protected on the internet, they use all these phone numbers and email addresses, and sometimes they're burner, sometimes they're not. And other times they get sloppy and use personal things on burner accounts, and data aggregators scoop this up. And so, a skilled OSINTer who knows how to search, you know, data aggregation platforms from, data brokers are able to connect all these dots from behind the scenes. You think that no one will ever find, like, you wouldn't believe the shit we could find at the drop of a hat through data brokers. It's phenomenal. But so a lot of people that we come across who think they're untouchable or no one can find them, it's there is always like a digital fingerprint, however obscure it is. It just takes dedication and sometimes obsession to find it. Oh man. Let's see here. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, right here. Alteration of metadata. If hunters download, modify, or re-upload content, they change critical metadata, such as timestamps, geolocation, and file creation details. These alterations make it difficult for investigators to establish the chain of custody and verify the authenticity of the evidence. All this stuff matters. If that pedo has a really good attorney or a really good public defender, all of these things are commonplace amongst law enforcement. Examining metadata. If there is a break in the chain of custody, then the evidence is inadmissible. It can't be used, even though it could be the crown jewel of evidence. But yet, you can't even use it because you broke the chain of custody, or, the files were modified in some way and not left in their original original form. Which comes from the failure to preserve the original content. So, like, for example, we touched on screenshots and other derivative formats. These are not enough for law enforcement. The original files or a properly captured forensic image, that's, without that, the evidence lacks integrity. So, for example, in my case, I had a lot of videos. I had a shit ton of YouTube videos and screenshots for all of America. Had so many screenshots of like hundreds of defacements and hacks, and remote desktops that we'd broken into, like rats that we had like installed on other machines, like servers that we had installed on hijacked machines, shells that we had hijacked from other hackers, and of course our botnet. They did show screenshots of like me doing a cross-site script on like NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory website and the Pentagon website, and an attempted intrusion into the Dallas Police Department helicopter unit at Love Field Airport. So I found this badass remote desktop back in like 2007. It belonged to the city of Dallas. I'm talking, it had like waterworks, and it had like electricity, fire department, had the police department, all these different work groups all on the same remote desktop. And I was like, fuck, I have to get it. So I tried to use TS Grinder to try to break the passwords, and I couldn't. I just couldn't. So I was like, I took a screenshot of it. And I was like, I need this for like future reference because at some point I'm going to break into it. Did I do it? No, I actually never did. I actually forgot about it. But it was shown, even though it could not be proven that I did this, but it was used in a theatrical setting to set the tone that I was a bad actor, and that I could not and should not, under any circumstances, be granted bail, or else my ETA friends would give me hacking tools by which I would continue to commit hacking crimes. So that happened. It wasn't evidence, but like I said, it was used in a theatrical manner. And since I wasn't, being indicted for what happened in those screenshots, but, what happened with the Corral Clinic and the HVAC server, like I said, it was there to assassinate my character and make sure that I looked too dangerous to be let out. But murders always get out, almost always. Anyways, there's also this thing. This is a big deal. Mixing evidence with personal opinions. I want you guys, like, as derogatory as it sounds, you got to start thinking like an agent. You have to start thinking like they do, or trying to imagine what it must be like to think like them, since I don't have any reference any more than you do. So biased documentation, which includes personal commentary, assumptions, or speculative links between individuals, which we see all over the internet, and crimes, can taint an otherwise legitimate report. So, we see a lot of things like this on the internet. It's like, this person is connected to this person said this, and this person facilitated that. You have all these connections, and somewhere in there is a false positive, which then you've just, or you're narrating, like, I know this sounds stupid, but justice is supposed to be blind until, proven guilty. Now, we both know that justice is not blind in America. It is the absolute antithesis of blind. But the letter of the law is still there to placate, to make sure that you still believe that justice is blind. So adding your own personal commentary is not, like, if you're not going to be like a witness on a witness stand, then this isn't going to matter. Like, if you're not going to be like, and you're never going to be a witness on a witness stand unless you're working with the law enforcement. So, like, leave the commentary out, because it's not helpful. And if someone is following it and it turns out to be wrong, fuck. Well, I don't know. I hate to have that on my conscience. Lack of verification. Submitting unverified content. Failing to confirm the legitimacy of flagged accounts, content, or claims before reporting can lead to investigators chasing false leads. Inadequate documentation, poorly documented evidence, such as incomplete URLs, vague descriptions, or missing timestamps, can hinder law enforcement's ability, to act efficiently. I have to use an inhaler. You can't watch me do it, though. Wait, is my webcam off? Yeah. Whoa! Wow! Ew. That is disgusting. Anyways, there's a lot of things that we would talk about, like evidence and not doing the things that we've been doing. Well, what's not working before, Let's not do that anymore. I want us to become better. And we can still do that. We can still become awesome in our own way by thinking creatively outside of the box instead of doing the same things over and over, expecting different results. Okay, here's a big deal. Check this out. So there used to be a thing back in like the 1960s. I think it was called the Silver Platter Doctrine. And if my memory serves me correctly, how that worked was, let's say a state police officer or whatever had illegally obtained evidence. We know that under the Fourth Amendment, rights of protection against illegal searches and seizures, it's like, well, shit. We have this evidence. We know this guy's guilty, but we obtained it illegally. What do we do? So what they used to do is they would pass it on to the federal level, and the federal level was allowed legally to present that illegal evidence. That was abolished, obviously, because it's illegal. But check this out. You can't use it anymore. But anyways, there, except in extraordinary circumstances. So if the circumstance is extraordinary, you can get all this evidence and bundle it up in a little bow and just throw it on on the FBI's doorstep or police or whatever. Like, yo, bam! This guy's here's everything you need to know about this guy's guilt. It really doesn't work like that, especially if you don't have a dialogue with that law enforcement entity. It just doesn't work like that, because what will happen is, when it comes to the actual case and the court case itself, the defense attorney, which would be representing the pedophile, might question how the evidence was obtained. Well, it was obtained illegally, anonymously, and now you have no play. Like, well, shit, can't use it. You can't use it. The only exception to that rule is if the officer was acting in good faith. In other words, if he reasonably believed that collecting the evidence was done in a lawful manner, but then it turned out that he was mistaken, the good faith doctrine will allow illegal evidence to be admitted under those stringent and unique circumstances. Oh, man. It seems like a shit show. But, see, you don't have to... Let me go hop in the chat here. You don't have to do all their work for them. It doesn't work like that. For example, let's say we're on Twitter, right? And you just happen to come across this account, this profile, and there's something on it. Obviously, the guy, he's got weird symbols on it, and you know what those symbols mean. He's talking about CSAM, or like he's trying to get people to go to his CSAM link. Well, you don't have to go to that. You don't have to fact check or verify it. You don't need to. In fact, we never needed to. You can just report it. But what you could do from there is take his username and begin de-anonymizing him. And what I do when I do these things, because I was locked up for so long. I was locked up in prison for 11 years, so I know how to write like these. Where is it? It's like just write like a report. You can write a summary. In fact, when you read like my indictment, the FBI and the prosecution had to explain how they came to the conclusion that they understood that I was Jesse McGraw, right? They just couldn't just throw it out and be like, here's Jesse McGraw. In their report, you can call it like an affidavit, I suppose, but in their report, they had to explain every step of the investigative process until they got to the conclusion that Ghost Exodus is Jesse McGraw. And to harden that evidence, they compared their findings with NCIC and fuck, what was that thing? That law enforcement database I wrote about. This other law enforcement database that they use by LexisNexis. So they use that in order to substantiate who I was. So it was beyond a reasonable doubt establishing my identity. So when I issue reports, I'm just a concerned citizen who accidentally came across this, but I'm also an investigative journalist, and in the future, I will have, the ability to operate as a private investigator. So, but until then, I'm a private citizen. I found this. I'm also an OSINT researcher, and while I did not view the link, this is the link that I found. I did not open it, And here it is. So you'd be like at 11 at what's today? January 23rd, 2025 at approximately 11:36 p.m. I was on Twitter and seen this profile in my feed or something like that. The profile belonged to user Joe Schmo 12376 Blow. And I noticed that on Monday, December 25th, 2024, at 1:32 p.m., this user posted this link to a CSAM thing and said, hey, everybody, come join the party or whatever. Here is the link to the thread that I found. Also iterating that you never saw the website. And then just take the username, the unique username, and begin to de-anonymize the user behind that account. And you can explain the process. I used this tool, which relies on data aggregation, blah, 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 blah. And then I found these accounts under here, and attached to this is a Gmail account, and his name is Kamir Lamar Mohammed Jamal IV, and he lives in New York City under this address. And you just explain every single point. I mean, that's how they do things. You don't have to, though. You don't have to do all that. That's only if it's like, this is a fucking serious thing. This is serious. So serious. I mean, it's all serious, but sometimes you come across something that's so serious that you could lose sleep over it. But then remember, once you issue that report, whether it's just filling out the template at, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or emailing the FBI directly, or whatever, stop. Once you've done it, stop. Your job is done. Move on to the next thing. Now, if you have to, revisit it in 6 months to a year. I don't know, 3 months, 2 months, I don't know. But it doesn't take 1 month to put 2 and 2 together. Like that guy I told you about. No OPSEC. His phone number links to his CSAM thing. There was no obfuscation between his phone number, his identity, and the CSAM marketplace he ran. There was no break in between. So, just got to think creatively, you know what I mean? Be creative. Yeah, you got to be creative. Like that guy, the protocol police. Got to be creative. Got to be someone that they can rely on and trust. If you really want to get your foot in the door, volunteer for like 6 months with that organization I'd mentioned. Start volunteering. And if you don't want to just do hunting, you produce literature, distribute it locally, teach parents. Become a thing. That's not just some shadowy figure fucking off in cyberspace pretending to be super cool and mysterious. You could still be all that if you want. But aside from that, maybe just put some literature out there. Talk to people. See about speaking, being a public speaker. That's kind of like where it's at. Start networking outside of all of us inglorious asshats, with our little masks or not masks or black hoodies or whatever it is that we use to look super cool and intimidating. Start connecting with the industry. Anyways, we're also working on a cyberbullying campaign, anti-cyberbullying campaign. Because while we're working on our game plan, for Fenrir's Helm, how we are going to hunt. We just take those same damn skills that we have and start applying them to de-anonymizing cyberbullies. We're doing that now. And, because, you know, our group is fucking good at it. Not only that, why stop there? If you're good at OSINTing, do more. Do more than that with your OSINT. I don't know, hunt terrorists. Figure out how that works. You know? Go to school. Be a PI. Do digital forensics. I said it so many times. If no one is listening, God help you. God help you if you're not listening. You know, networking in the industry, for example, I've got friends I can actually phone or just, you know, reach out to easily. Be like, yo, like friends who are like professional pedo hunters who have done all this stuff that I'm talking about us doing, wanting to do. They've done it. And now I can pick their brain. That's networking. Do it. Fucking do it, man. And not just that, but volunteer. Be an educator. And do that. Do that shit. And stop fucking up investigations. Just don't be that guy. I swear to God, don't fucking do it. I'll get mad. I'll get really mad. I almost lost my shit this morning. But I try to restrain myself. For the sake of my add-on friends. Who mean well. Even if some might lack brain cells. There was once a day I lacked many brain cells because my brain cells were made up of me. And I was quite the attention whore. Anyways, I'm gonna sit in these chats for a sec and see what's going on. Oh wait, yeah, I need to drop the link in the chats. Hold on, I'll make this easy for everyone. Boom, 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 boom. All right, what we got here? Who sent it to me again? Oh yeah, that's right. All right, this is brilliant. I can't believe it. It's almost like my prayers have been answered. The fact that Cookie Monster, it's just he's always thinking about the team. He's always thinking about the team. He's thinking about how, you know, we could benefit from something, and he shot this idea. And to be honest with you, I didn't even know there were nonprofits out there who just want OSINTers to de-anonymize bad guys. Huh, we already do that. Well, shit, what's stopping us from volunteering? Oh, there's a video. So if you go to that website, right? Go to that website. And then up at the top near the middle, there's a drop-down menu. It says Get Involved, and you click on Join Us. Now there is, where is it? I'm trying to see, there's this YouTube video. Damn it. I might drop the YouTube video as well so you can see it. It's really brilliant. It's this organization explaining, like, yeah, we want OSINTers. And they explain kind of like a general idea of the process, what you have to feel comfortable with, and also like you'll be like psychologically like counseled or evaluated at certain intervals to make sure that you're okay. That's normal. The professional pedo hunting world, this happens, especially under law enforcement. And even they have to be taken aside and be like, yo, you're not thinking about like any really dark thoughts, are you? Like, what are you doing to cope with what you've seen? Here it is. Therapy is important. So let me tell you something. If you're running a pedo hunting operation, dude, support your hunters. Do that mental health shit. Talk to them. You won't get shit out of me. I usually don't say anything. Even though I run the topic on the ETA chats. I'm not in it. I mean, I don't really involve. I have toxicity for that. But support each other, because in my group, we talk about this stuff. I sit people down for certain intervals of time, just so that they can disengage, not hyper focus, and start spinning out psychologically, mentally, emotionally. There's one thing that I do want to say about about the mental health aspect of this. I firmly believe, especially with toxicity's advice, that people who have been traumatized in this manner, if they have not come to terms with their trauma, there's no reason why you should be in a position to revisit other people's trauma by seeing the very things that may have happened to you. So, does that mean that people who are past victims shouldn't? No, I'm not saying that. People who have not come to terms with their trauma will hunt out of desperation. And it's almost like they're reliving something. It might be at the forefront of their mind. It might be subconscious. But they'll be hunting out of passion, but this passion is coming out of the recesses of desperation. It's almost like they're trying to use hunting to get closure for themselves, but it never happens that way, because the more you see, children being hurt, that you're not going to find closure for yourself unless you get equipped with the right psychological tools to face your darkness and accept that it happened. And that if you find some reason or means to move forward, you can. We have a person in my group who is going through this very thing right now, and it's very hard for him. I don't let him hunt, but we talk about it. But there's other things he can do for us that will never cause him to be in a position to either break the law or see something that he cannot unsee. So, with that being said, like I said, I don't see this stuff. I don't see it. I just work data. I work the data. I work OSINT. Hold on. I got DMs happening. Let me see. What's going on in my DMs? Gosh, I'm so tired. Damn it. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait. Oh, wow. Okay. Wait. I might not... Hey, Dex, I might not be seeing what you're bringing my attention to. Pretend like I'm an idiot. and help me. Wow. Congratulations, YS Project, for what you said here. Where you said you found out a case that you submitted 4 years ago had 20 counts brought against them for distribution. That's amazing. It does work. Trust the process. It does work. I know I've said, don't do this, don't do anything, fuck, stop, just don't do anything at all, period, the end. No, there is a process. It does work. Be creative. Let me see. I'm tired. Like my eyes can't do it. Almost fell asleep. So I'm looking to see. If there's anything else that I wanted to say. Oh, yeah. Maintain confidentiality, right? Just refrain from discussing or sharing the evidence publicly. That way you avoid tipping off suspects and contaminating investigations, right? Just be careful. You got to think like this. Like, think like you're being watched. Just think that you're being watched, right? Just think that you found this thing, you want to investigate it, but you need to protect it from leaks. What do? In my group, I know the identity of every person in my Fenrir's helm. Well, except for one. That's only because I trust Cookie Monster. Because he's vouched for. Yeah, I know the identities of everyone. Hey, back in the day in the ETA, we had like, at the most, probably like 50 people in our crew at one time. That's all you really needed. You only really needed 5. But every person coming in, I de-anonymize them. It's because the hacker world is so treacherous. People can be very fickle. And untrustworthy. Always like screenshotting shit you say, and you never know. But I always had the end game in sight, just in case something happened or we had a falling out that I had to respond to aggressively. That is not the same here. But here's the thing. If you're going to work for these organizations as a volunteer, they're going to know who you are, right? If you're ever going to be a witness in a criminal proceeding against a pedophile or something like that, they're going to have to know who you are. I want to know that I can trust you, and for no other reason. So this is why, like, people will be like, Ghost, I want to join Fenrir's Helm. But a lot of people don't. They have the skills, but they don't. They just, they're just, no, the price is too high. So if you're in Fenrir's Helm, I commend you, I applaud you. Yeah, and some people are under contract too. Some people are under a contract with me. I won't name names, but I engage with different people in different ways. Because we don't want infiltrators. We don't want traitors. We don't want people thinking that they can get one over on me. And the point is I want these groups, these hunting groups, to adopt a similar model. They don't have to do what I say, but I fucking hope that you at least hear what I'm saying. You have to protect what you are doing from outsiders. You have to know who you're fucking working with, or at least trust them enough to know that they're not going to turn around and destroy you, or let someone else in, or do something that could harm your people. Like, if I was ever going to do some really serious hacking that involved another person, I'd have to fucking know who that person is. And just for anyone who's working in law enforcement, yeah, I still I haven't hacked in a very long time. 'Cause I don't have to. I can do other things. I write now. I like writing. I like OSINTing. I get my kicks from OSINTing. All right, Cookie Monster. He said, I'll be seeing you. Is that a threat? Is that a threat, Cookie Monster? What do you mean by you're going to be seeing me? What does that even mean? I want to know. Just kidding. All right, bro. Well, I'll be seeing you too. Stay out of trouble. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. You found that video. Yeah, I'm going to tell you guys a secret about that video. Yeah, you're going to love this. So, the ETA was working on a PSYOP against Anonymous. You have to understand, like, Anonymous and the ETA were, past tense, enemies. Big enemies. And so, we found this video. I mean, you've probably seen the actual video itself without... Now, we ripped it off of YouTube. That voice that you hear is mine. The voice changer is terrible. So we were trying to incite the Cult of the Dead Cow and Anonymous to fight. It's really ridiculous, but I wanted Anonymous to actually attack the Cult of the Dead Cow. I just wanted to see what they would do. If you go to these hacker conferences, you will end up meeting like Dill Dog and some of the others. At DEF CON, they still have the same kind of a CDC culture as they've had for the last like 20 plus years. I've met Medusa. I've spoken to Dill Dog, but we don't really know each other. But I used to chat with members of the Ninja Strike Force back in the day. My throat is dying. Excuse me. I think members like Oracle Green Diamond or Oracle GD. Devilish was one of them. There was this one guy from Germany who always had like this gas mask. I can't remember what his name was. Excuse me. But anyways, yeah, it was a PSYOP video. We just wanted to get them to fight each other. Because I was throwing all my chips on CDC, destroying them. But not really figuring out that, like, they don't really do that dramatic bullshit. So, there was that. Yeah, that was fun. So, yeah, there was, I don't even know how to really explain how I came across Anonymous. Because it's so embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing because, it was like 2007, right? There was like something new on the scene. Something was happening in 2007. I know Anonymous is older than 2007. I know about the image Chan boards. Everyone knows. Chanology, blah, blah, blah. Like, and just the thing about Chanology and all this shit, like, that is literally like their only real claim to fame. Like you're always talking about Chanology. Like, if that's literally it, like, we keep talking about it like it was like the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I mean, it was an interesting time in the hacker subculture. Chanology was pretty cool. But the fact that's pretty much the only thing we ever really talk about means that they probably don't have too many milestones that are very impressive. It's the subgroups that kind of started, making waves. Excuse me. But all these people in my group start using the word lols all the time. Like, lols this and lols that. Like, what the fuck does lols mean? And it's like, Ghost, I just saw this thing on 4chan, lols. And I was like, shut the fuck up. What does that even mean? Lols. Like my neighbors are saying lols now, and they're not even part of the hacker world. Lols, like, shut up. Like, what is it? It's like, haven't you heard of Anonymous? It's like, no, I haven't heard of it. What is Anonymous? And so my first introduction to Anonymous was like, I want to find out who is corrupting my members with this stupid vocabulary. So I came across the Fox 11 News video, like, kill, die, It's an internet hate machine. They've hacked my MySpace and put gay porn on it. And blah, blah, blah. My girlfriend broke up with me. They've called in bomb threats to 7 football stadiums. And I'm like, holy shit, these guys seem like extremists. They're fucking extremists. Holy shit. So I'm like, wow, anonymous, like this is something else. So I'm like, I'm on the internet, right? I'm looking around. So I'm thinking this is like an extremist group. It's like, wow, like how do they get into all these MySpaces? It's just, well, we know how they did that. But like I'm just thinking like this poor woman like had to buy a dog. So I'm like, these guys are like terrorists. So I'm hunting for the leader of Anonymous because I'm like, I'm gonna find this person. I'm going to find the leader of Anonymous. And so I'm asking these Anons that I found across social media. I was like, yo, I want to talk to your leader. Where's your leader at? How do I find him? And they just led me all over the place. I didn't even want to get into like the full meat and potatoes of this because it's so stupid. Like it's so stupid that it could have only happened to me. Because I'm known to take things at face value. I am autistic. And I sometimes don't catch everything, the jokes, the little ones. So this guy was like, yo, at like 3:50 p.m. today, the leader of Anonymous is going to be in Habbo Hotel. This was 2007. Mind you, the whole Habbo Hotel thing was years before, but it was still going on at this time. So I was like, Habbo Hotel. So one of my members and I joined Habbo Hotel. And lo and behold, what did we find? The pool has AIDS. Pool is closed. And I see all these like these black avatars with these afros. I'm just like thinking like this is the most racist fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Like the pool has AIDS. Pool's closed. You've got people in the pool who can't get out. And I'm just looking around, and I'm trying to figure out where's the leader at. Can't find the leader. So it's like, I told my bro, I was like, I need you to infiltrate Anonymous. I'm gonna send you into these Chan boards, and I want you to learn everything you can about Anonymous. Because I mean, as a leader, like you send people to do your bidding. Like you don't just have to do everything for yourself unless everyone's incompetent. So I send him off to spy on Anonymous for too long, and he comes back sounding like a freaking betard and just talking like he's not even speaking English anymore. Like I don't understand what happened to him, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? They turned you like it's a cult. And he's like, no, dude, like it's totally chill. Like it's actually really fun. It's like that's stupid. Like I don't believe you. So I go and I'm like 7chan, like 711 Chan, 420 Chan, 8chan. I'm going through all of them. I have like a directory of an index for every one of them that I'm aware of. And so I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. But these people have literally no filter whatsoever. Wow, they support free speech and everything. And so I'm just like, you know what the fuck? Like, this is kind of cool. All right. I don't know why I made such a big old deal about it. So I ended up joining Anonymous in 2007, and but under a different name, 74K71X. The reason being is because the ETA's allies, which was a group called 0 Day Exile, they had a botnet of like 1 million machines after like infecting like a Windows update. It was so fucking massive. I've never seen anything quite like this. It was like on par with like Chinese, state actors and stuff like that. But one day I just like thought I'd throw a lols out there. I was like, lols. And they're like, fuck you, faggot. Like, what are you talking about? Hanging out with those Anon fags. Like, they're a bunch of script kiddies. And are you saying you're an Anon now? And I was like, whoa. No, not at all. Like, I'm totally not an Anon. I don't know what you're talking about. I just heard someone say the word lols and thought I would try. And obviously, I am mistaken. It's LOL. Oh man. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's right. Tactics. And so I was like, damn, well, I can't be open about it. So might as well just kind of like create an alternate identity to enjoy this unique little, ecosystem and of weirdness. Anyways, it escalated into me beefing with the leader of another group. Then I went to war. We fucking destroyed them. And then what ended up happening is because it was so easy, and I mean, we were hitting like all these. I still have the screenshots from a lot of these chans that we were hitting with DDoS attacks. We were just hitting them left and right, and and doxing their leaders. And what happened after that? Oh, we ended up getting betrayed for some other group that we had destroyed, who leaked our database table to Anonymous, which changed the entire dynamic of our winning streak. And because most of the ETA, the core members of the ETA are in the States, while we're sleeping, they're still operating. That's when we finally got our website hacked in 2008. Yeah, 2008. It just started a whole lot of shit. Yeah, so at the time, Anonymous actually was like played a crucial role in the reason why I committed my crime that got me arrested. So there were some members of Anonymous who were making like death and rape threats against our kids, which is like really weird. Like, why would you even do that to begin with? Like, that's like some sadistic sicko type mentality. And I remember they hacked into the Fixer's, one of my members' email accounts, leaked his court records, got his name, his social security number, address, everything. They actually sent someone to his house and vandalized it. And then took these pictures of his child and photoshopped them into inappropriate images. Yeah, that's obviously, we talked about that. That's illegal. Death and rape threats all around. And, I had de-anonymized like one of them, and it was just really fucked up. It got to the point where I could no longer see it as like juvenile posturing. Because, back in those days, people said all types of fucked up weird shit. This was before PC culture came around. I mean, I never threatened to rape anyone. That's fucking insane. But I mean, that was like not uncommon that someone on the Chan boards was like saying something fucking weird like that. So anyways, it actually came to pass that one of these guys got really close to getting me arrested. I had made a huge mistake in my OPSEC where I wanted to throw off one of these guys from my trail, and I used the name and address of someone I had personally known in another state who had passed away. That itself is kind of unethical. But so I had impersonated one of my enemies. I was shooting out this fake dox, pretending to be that, as that enemy, so that our other enemies could actually scoop it up. But I didn't know this guy would actually call the police in that state with my photo and show it to the resident who was the surviving, divorcee, and she recognized me and sent the police to my mother's house. And my mother thankfully was like, I don't know him. I was like, Mom, thanks for looking out for me. Always look out for me. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know you. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, you're a different person. I was like, oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. But anyways, yeah, it spiraled out of control. And in an effort to protect my family and his family, I had to decide how this was going to end, because I couldn't use hacking against these guys anymore because they were collecting evidence against me to frame me. But strangely enough, they didn't have to frame me. I ended up committing my crime myself. So I had reached out to ic3.gov and was like, these guys are like cyber stalking, cyber harassment, and threatening to like rape and murder my family. The FBI never said anything. They just kind of like, I don't know what they did. So in an act of desperation, I infected the 14 computer systems at the Correll Clinic in Dallas, which is a private clinic that specializes in orthopedics and sports medicine. And I had installed a botnet on 14 of those computer systems, and had joined them to our botnet pool on remote desktops, which we had accumulated through infecting copies of Halo and distributing them on LimeWire. So I was just gonna take out 4chan, take them all out. That was the plan. Call in our allies, 0 Day Exile. Let's take out every fucking Chan board, all of them, as a statement to fuck off. Yeah. And it didn't actually go out the way I'd planned. Taking the law in my own hands, I didn't benefit from it at all. Everyone had to suffer for it. What ended up happening after that? Well, I mean, the rest is history, to be honest. But while I was locked up, I did gain the support of a lot of Anons. By then, Anonymous had changed. Operation Payback pretty much changed them, I think. Might have been another one, but they had stopped being dickheads and started being hacktivists. In their early years, started to fight for actual causes, instead of personal causes. So the relationship between the ETA and Anonymous, that vacuum was filled when I was locked up, and I ended up when I got out, just coming back to join the collective and add to the culture through Op Child Safety, until I realized that after everything that I have seen, all the drama, the backbiting, the character assassination, trying to cancel each other out, it was like, the idea itself is pretty cool. I mean, look, we've got this mask of Guy Fawkes. What's so funny about Guy Fawkes? That he was the only reason why we know about him is because he was the one that got caught. Amongst the gun barrel, the barrels full of gunpowder. He was just the guy, like, standing there. Like, he was supposed to, like, set it off, I think. And it's just because he was the one that got caught. That's the reason why he became famous, and then like lionized through comic books and movies as like this revolutionary hero. He really wasn't historically. And the reason why they were doing this was for religion. They wanted I think they wanted a Catholic king. And so or was it a Protestant king? I wrote an actual article about it, actually. So they wanted to kill like all the members of parliament, as well as like the king or prime minister, whatever it was, so that they could install their religious ruler and make the country under that religious banner or umbrella. Like it was a holy war, a personal holy war. That ended very badly. So we have this mask of a doomed hero who failed to carry out his plot. So it is ironic, but that doesn't mean that we have to embody the spirit of a failed revolution. That's why we have to take this idea and make it a reality. But also, an idea in and of itself does not provide a way to implement the idea. I mean, it sounds cool, but there's no way to, but the idea itself provides no foundation to see it come to fruition. But I will say this is the reason why we have such an overwhelming amount of script kiddies. And I know this is off topic, but I'm kind of like in this area of speaking about Anonymous and hacktivism. See, in the 2000s era, where I'm from, it was the golden age of hacking at that time. I would have to say that maybe the golden age was actually like the 2 decades before, but like it was the golden age of modern computing at the time. Like, we had the World Wide Web, like everything was now at our fingertips. The internet was getting faster. Computers were finding a way to get faster and smaller. Like, access to information, to the information highway, was like everything. And we had the best operating system at the time. It was user-friendly, it was Windows XP. But all the Windows operating systems in that time, in that era, but like Windows XP was the industry standard used by millions and millions upon millions of personal users in industry and military and law enforcement. It was also inherently insecure right out of the package, which meant that it provided a clear way for hackers to explore the file system, the operating system, how to interact with it locally and remotely. I mean, right out of the package, it came with a built-in administrator password, administrator account, which required no password. You could also access the administrator account through, safe mode with networking. It utilized NTLM hashes. In the SAM registry, where the console login passwords were stored, which itself was inherently vulnerable, which meant that you could crack virtually any login with ease in moments. It came with like the ability to FTP, to Telnet. So, insecure protocols, remote desktop, insecure protocol, auto run feature. You could pop in an SD card, a CD, a USB stick with malicious code and immediately execute it, just like that. There were so many things about Windows that was inherently insecure that basically defined an entire hacker generation. New tools. I mean, most of us weren't even hacking using Linux back then. Windows back then was hacker friendly, but like even websites, it wasn't uncommon to find websites that didn't rely on SSH or MD5 hashing for their passwords, and were storing passwords in the database table in plain text. And because passwords hashes back then weren't generally salted, you could just you could crack them. It was easy. Also, packets weren't encrypted. Man in the Middle attacks was like stealing candy from a fucking baby, because HTTPS was not adopted as like a security standard. So all data packets flying through the network from here to the internet and back were all unencrypted. You can intercept them all in plain text. Credit card numbers, everything. Emails, anything that you were typing, all of it. So yeah, it like spawned a generation of prolific hacks and amazing tools, and then things got locked down, locked down, locked down. Microsoft tried it with Windows 7, and it was way too secure, so that users couldn't even really actually use it in a pleasant way. To get to where we are now, like I wanted to telnet, I wanted to telnet to telehack.com, and well, I couldn't. I actually had to watch a video to find out how to enable it from the system panel or whatever that thing is. So, like, it's a lot harder to hack Windows than it was back then. So bear in mind, this is another reason why we've shifted almost all of us have shifted to Linux. Like, it's flexible, it's ready to go, it's compatible with everything we need, all the tools, you name it. But because the internet is so rife with malicious code and of all varieties, Windows users do come into contact with malware, but because Windows Defender is built into the operating system, which Windows XP did not have anything like that, like, users are protected, which means that what worked back then won't work anymore, and you have to think outside of the box in order to defeat new security standards, and keep your malware protected from being detected. It's crazy. So yeah, it's a lot harder, which has given birth to an entire generation of script kiddies who don't know how to hack, except maybe using scripts that work on the network level, like port scans, just scanning stuff, auditing, different types of security auditing tools. But like, I don't know, web application exploitation, it's hard. I ain't gonna lie, it is fucking hard. It's harder now than it ever was. Oh yeah, someone was like 16 years ago, was criticizing me. He's like, Ghost, Telnet nobody uses Telnet anymore. Like, why are you so focused on it? Well, back then, like I said, like, Telnet was used by all different types of industries, and it's still used to this day, and it's been around forever. Probably a lot longer than I have lived. So, Telnet is like this communications protocol. It offers no encryption, but what I've noticed is that a lot of businesses use Telnet in order to remotely manage like PBX systems, or like phone systems. So it's not uncommon to find them on Shodan and just kind of like knock on the login screen and you're like, oh wow, it's a Telnet server. And they're still using it because they say if it's not broken, don't fix it. So yeah, they're still using it because we still use PBX systems. I actually love Metasploit. Love it a lot. It's really fun. It's easy. It's actually really easy. Like, once you get a feel for like the general, like the commands for it, like, it's for the most part the same across all modules. Not always, but minor differences. Ugh, I'm so tired. Anyways, whew, man, you can actually see it. Can't even keep my eyes open. If I do this. Oh. Oh, man. Yeah, one of the things I want to do is master Burp Suite. I do use it, but in a minuscule way. Just basic security auditing. But I haven't actually used any of the offensive kind of like features in Burp Suite. Thing's badass though. Do you guys know like how expensive it is to actually own a license for Burp Suite? Licenses for. I mentioned it in an article last year, but it's like insane. A 1-year subscription is priced at $449 per user. Let me see. Well, let me tell you something. Yeah, $449. That's a lot of money. How much is a license? License? For Maltego. 5,000 euros per year per user. You're welcome. That's a lot of money. 5,000 euros. Fucking hell. That thing better be able to work itself while I freaking sip champagne. That's true. Modbus is like, that's actually extremely popular protocol to exploit, because it's Metasploit has a module for it, and it runs like, it works seamlessly. It's also because Modbus is like one hell of a insecure, like I think it's a network protocol, and there are modern versions of it that offer privacy, but most industries aren't using it. So there's that. Yep, SCADA systems. That's what I went to prison for, hacking SCADA systems. I'll never do that again, though. Won't do it again. There are a lot of XP systems out there. In fact, I have a Windows XP virtual machine right here. Let's see. It's up here somewhere. It's not on though, but yeah, I got a whole setup happening. But I have this this VM up here. I won't be able to see it without this. Got Windows 11 Mint Metasploitable, which I love fucking around with. Windows XP, Dragon OS, and Kali. I'm trying to get Windows 98 on here, but you need to finagle it to get it to work in a virtual machine. Let's see. This is the port scanner I've always used like my whole life. Oftentimes when I'm doing like network auditing, that's just a fancy word. I still use this. I'll even use this legacy version using Wine, because it works, and it works fun. It's great. I'm familiar with it. Yeah, I mean, we can use Nmap. Nmap is great. I still use the Nmap as well. Everyone does. But it's the interface. I love it. What are you doing, Tox? Oh, she's jamming out. She doesn't hear me. She's being good. Last time she was like singing really loud. Oh, let me turn this volume up. I just forgot. Sorry, Tariq. I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm like, my brain is broke. I should be able to telnet into Telehack with this. I found this really badass thing. So Telehack is like a simulator slash emulator that is command line based. And if you ever wanted to experience what it was like living like in the 80s and 90s on the internet, it captures it perfectly. It's got like, if I remember correctly, over 26,000 various virtual hosts. So if you wanted to like surf bulletin board systems, dialing in, not using IP addresses, but phone numbers. Mind you, this is emulated, so it's not real phone numbers. And reading old documents, text files, reading issues of Frack magazine as it would have appeared on like a bulletin board system or whatever, right? Telehack. You can go straight to the website. And if you guys remember, like towel.blinkenlights.nl, which was that ASCII Star Wars, but it doesn't exist anymore. It exists on Telehack. Hold on. I love Telehack because I'm a nerd. I missed that generation, even though it was happening right under my nose at the time. I started really actually using the internet when I was in 1995. In 1996, I'm using the World Wide Web, searching things on the internet using Lycos, not realizing that there were still bulletin board communities. And I didn't actually get into bulletin board systems until they were already obsolete, but only a few were kept alive by enthusiasts. Now, they still do exist. They're just not popular. But anyways, Telnet, wait, this keyboard. To spacehack.com. What port do they use? I think default 23. That's right. How about I leave that out? I typed in space hack. Oh my god. You know why? Check this out. Back in the day, there was like this chat room called Space Hack or Space something that I could telnet to when I used to work as a security guard for Metro PCS. And I just stand around for like 13, 14 hours all day, and it was the most unstimulating job I had ever had. And I had access to a computer, and the only social interaction and stimulation I could get was telnetting to this space hack thing or whatever it was called. So, it's kind of weird. Telehack.com, port 23. Oh yeah, got it, yay, good. Put my login, which was John Doe 123. My password is password. Yeah, I'm in. Just kidding. That's not my password or my username. But anyways, yeah, you can find the ASCII Star Wars on this server, which is ridiculous. I want to know who put this shit together, who puts the ASCII Star Wars together, how long it took, and if they had any physical relations with a woman during the time, because only someone who's going to die a virgin could make something so awesome. Here it is. Yeah, there it is. So yeah, it's still a thing. Not a big fan of the intro. And to be honest, I have never seen the full thing in my whole life. But I will say this. I have the legacy version of Winamp on my Windows 11. There's also this oh, look at it. Stormtroopers, and there's a little rebel guy. They're coming through the door. And I guess that's Darth Vader? So anyways, yeah. Legacy version. Oh yeah, there's this if you use Linux and you want like a retro Windows theme to it, look up on GitHub Chicago 95. It's a Windows 95 theme for Linux, and it is brilliant. It's really good. It was really well done. Anyways. Oh man, I think I'm gonna chill by terminating this transmission and going to bed. I think I've not watched this ASCII thing like into like 5 minutes. I think it's only been a few minutes. My whole life. When I was a kid, somebody mentioned it on IRC and I went to see it and I just never watched it. Anyways, cool kids. It's still happening. All right, everyone. We'll see you. Now, hey, if you guys have any questions, reach out to me. I'll try to provide answers the best that I can. I know I provide a lot of red tape, but the red tape was there before I said anything. I just want us to be able to catch the bad guys without becoming bad guys ourselves. All right. Wait, in the UK, this is bad. There you go. There you go. There you go. See? Not bad anymore. All right, deuces. Let's do this. Gosh, I have 22 messages? Fuck off. Good night, everyone.